Hello, welcome back to my channel. You get what you pay for with Robert Brown. Today it's rainy out there and it's National Knife Week. So what I did was I got some new knives. And I kind of didn't know it was National Knife Week, to be honest. But I wanted to get these knives because both these knives have some similarities. The price point, the blade material, and the locking mechanism, all pretty close. So made in the United States was the primary goal. So what I did was I have a lot of Chinese made knives, and because I'm not a millionaire, I had to purge some of those and part with some of my Chinese made knives. Actually, my brother got a couple of them. No, a few of them actually. So, but what us knife collectors need to do is, if we don't have a lot of money, we need to sell some to buy some. These two, so similar. I needed to show myself, and then I needed to show all of you guys which here is the better option. Honestly, with my channel is you get what you pay for. And I'm going to give you an honest review of these. Not paid, not sponsors, no affiliates, no nothing. I'm not making any money. I'm doing this just for you. It's like I'm giving you free ice cream, so let's not complain that it's not chocolate. You know what I'm saying? It's free. So let's open up the Hogue first. All right, so here's what's on the box. It's 24369 Deka. Manual folder, CPM MAGNACUT, 3.25. The worn cliff and the tumbled, it's like a tumbled finish on the blade, and it's a black polymer handle. Let's open this bad boy up. And this knife, I'll shake everything out. That's what you get in there. You get this, which is limited warranty by Hogue. I was kind of interested in that handle, but it was more money, so I didn't get that handle actually. And that's it. We got maintenance, nothing on the back. That's the whole thing you get inside the box. There you go. And you get one of those. And you get this nice little bag. It's very small compared to like some Geyser bags or any of those wee bags that knives come in. So let's open this up. And the bag is padded inside and has their logo, made in Mexico. It's a nice bag. I like it because it is small, so you can just throw your knife in there and it fits kind of perfect. So I do like that. With the knife, now I'm being 100% honest. When I got this out of the box the first time, I was just looking at it, and of course I immediately flipped it open. And when I flipped it open, it did not do that. When I flipped it open, it was like and nothing. I couldn't, and then I was like I had to move it up, and then when I felt the button for the first time, it was all crunchy in there. Like it wouldn't move freely. So it does fire out like it's supposed to now and closes. It does all that. But what I had to do immediately was I had to take it all apart. And what I found right away when I took this out of the pivot screw, there was Loctite all around the pivot. was Loctite overflowing into, right into the, from underneath into the mechanism, the locking mechanism. The mechanism had Loctite in it. So that was all the crunchiness. And then I found there was bits of Loctite right inside, like there. So I was like, okay. I just ripped it all apart and cleaned everything out. Lube these tracks. You know, once you get this all out, it's really easy to lube the little channel that's there. And I cleaned the washers. And there was literally chunks of Loctite inside and around the pivot point. So, you know, I understand that happens in production, but boy, when you are a knife collector and you get your first American knife and it's a Hogue and you're like, hear all this good stuff about Hogue, and you're like, okay, that's a MAGNACUT, that's awesome, but then you actually get it in your hands and it doesn't even open. I was so disappointed. I was so disappointed that I was like, I wanted to throw this thing in the garbage. But I'm a collector, I'm a mechanic. I do understand production and I understand mistakes happen. So I gotta tell you though, when I went to go take out these screws, literally they were falling out loose. Every single one of them. I literally put my wrench on, my screwdriver on there, and they turned them and they almost fell out. All of them. So if you were just a non, you just took this out of the box and you just threw it in your pocket, it would have fallen apart in the first day. That to me is not good. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry to say, but don't buy this knife unless you are a knife guy and you're going to take it all apart, and either you're going to get it with different handles, because these handles, I'm going to show you right here. Look at that. They're so flexy. You can never tell if the blade is in center because the handle is so flexy. Okay, enough hate. Let's give it some love. The blade, MAGNACUT, is really cool shape. It's different. It's got like a cutting surface here with a thicker material and then a more slicey front half with a nice pointy front. So it's very utilitarian, and I could see the benefits to all of that, and I do appreciate an innovative design, and I do like the look of it because, you know, looks count, but function on an EDC knife. The pocket clip works really nice. It's really flexible. It goes in and out of my leather pouch, which is thicker than jeans, very easily. I'll show you guys what this looks like over here. So I'm just giving you a look at this baby. And it's, see, it's supposed to, you're supposed to just pull this, and then this is supposed to just drop, but it doesn't. It doesn't. Okay, so trust me, I have the pivot to the point where it is, and I have it Loctited. I have the pivot all the way tight, and then backed off until there's play, and then tightened a little bit and backed off. It's like there's this like little magic formula that you go by to get the perfect kind of feel with no play, and you want it to be without any kind of binding. So I did that. What I didn't do yet is I have not polished the washers inside, and I've seen a lot of guys that they use like 6,000 grit, or they use just a fine diamond stone, and they polish the washers just a little bit to knock down the uneven surfaces of the washers, because the washers are just pumped out. They're not fabricated in like some fancy factory. They're just washers. They're excellent washers for everyday use because there's no bearings and you can just blow them out. Literally, you could blow the system out with air without having to worry about pushing dirt around too much. And if you really got gunk in there, you could take it apart, take out that mechanism inside, the locking mechanism, and you can also rip that apart and clean it. So it's got some benefits there. Okay, so I'm going to give you some quick stats on this knife here. The overall length on the knife is 7 inches, 7.5. The blade length is 3.25, and the close length on it is 4.25. The handle thickness, this handle thickness is, I'm going to go by 7/16, or it's 11 millimeters wide. And then the blade thickness is 0.94. It's thin and slicey. Very, very thin and slicey. It is 2.1 ounces. It's very, very lightweight. And they say the hardness on the blade is 60 to 62, which we all want to see on an EDC because it needs to be like that to last, I think. So I do have some, I bought some aluminum scales, some OG scales I'm going to put on here like a lot of people do. I couldn't afford the titanium ones just because I just don't have that much money. And the price point of this knife, just with the OG scales, will go from $125 to $200. This will be a $200 knife. So I have 12 minutes invested into this knife. Let's look at the Kershaw. Put this one away. Okay, this is what it says in the box. Bel Air 6105 SKU and made in USA, baby. Okay, like to see that on the box. Now this is a tiny box, see that? And that's it. You get this thing in the box. That's it. You get that baby, and then you get your knife. So let's pop that out and put this away. So with this knife right away, as soon as I got it out of the box, I was so relieved because I was like, please don't be like the freaking Deka. And of course it's not. This one here has these aluminum, but they're not just aluminum, they're nickel Cerakote coated. They're Cerakote coated aluminum. So it's kind of got this matte, kind of powdery sort of finish. It's grippy. It's not like hugely grippy, but it's definitely grippy. I like it. So that's the first thing I noticed. And then the next thing I noticed was, wow, look at that pocket clip. It's sticking up. That is like, makes this extremely deep carry, right? So that was the next thing I noticed. And then I always flex these babies, and this thing, oh man, that's stout. So that's going to be a little tough getting in and out of jeans. I definitely know that. And I did slide it into my leather pouch, and I had to give it a little help. So it's a great design of a pocket clip to me. I like it. Of course, inset would be better. Having that inset would be better. But a little flex, a little more flex to it. Maybe they'll make some aftermarket ones. I don't know. I just got the knife. So next, let's just fire it out. Okay, so immediately when I fired that out, I was like, oh, wait, that's what, look, see that? No fuss, no muss. The thing just closes when you use the button. So I was like, okay, that's what the Deka is supposed to be like, I believe. Deka. look, if I hit the button, it doesn't drop. It doesn't drop. There's no resistance there, but I do believe it's supposed to kind of just fall. You know, this is also on those same washers, the phosphorus washers, I believe, phosphorus. Flat. There's no bearings in there, it's just flat washers. So the Deka is the same thing, flat washers in this one. So they're very comparable there. Also comparable in, you can see, the size. Almost the same size. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. Let's open this bad boy up. Now, I kind of like this. It is a drop point, but it's a different kind of drop point. It's also a thin blade stock. Blade stock on this one is 0.89, so even thinner than the Deka. The actual, just so you can, because I have it right here, the handle thickness on here is 0.39 inches. 0.39. So put the Deka up there. The Deka, you can see the Deka is thicker. The Deka on the handle thickness, this is 11 millimeters, right? So definitely a little thicker. And the blade, we have jimping up here, which is nice, and it feels good in your hand. Ergo, I like the handle. I like the little bit of jimping down there, because if this did get wet, it would get slippery, and that extra jimping around helps with that. Definitely. You're not sticking your finger up and choking up into that choil or anything, but this position right here is great. It feels good in your hand, and all my knives that I like a lot, the handles are just barely bigger than my hands. The action on this is phenomenal. Like, just phenomenal. It's, to be honest with you, it's hard to do this, the flick out, because when it's in your hands, the positioning of the thumb stud is high up there, and you kind of bump. It's hard. See, you bump right into the finger up there. I'm having a hard time doing it. I think it's just because if this thumb stud was just a little lower here down on the blade, it'd make it easier to, like, spidey flick. You gotta watch yourself when you're doing that. You just drop the knife on your hand and it slides. It will cut you. This thing is razor sharp. Razor sharp out of the box. And, you know, okay, so I'm not trying to whittle hair or anything, but the two compared, this one, when you're slicing through paper, you hit that secondary blade right there, and that bump right in the middle, boink, and it snags on the paper. So if you buy this knife, you're going to experience that. When you're running this section through the paper or this section through the paper, it cuts pretty good. But when you try to slice through something, I'm not going to do it in front of you, because that's, a lot of people just cut paper, but I'm not a paper cutter. Anyway, you get it for yourself. You can slice as many pieces of paper as you want. So that secondary bump right there kind of causes issues. This one has got a nice belly to it and rifles right through the little test cuts I was doing. Sorry, bumped my camera. And there's the two knives opened up together, and really the only really big difference is the Deka handle is just a little longer. That's all. Overall, the knives are relatively the same. I mean, this one's a little thinner, and I like the profile. I like the profile of this. It definitely feels more of a pocket-friendly EDC knife. It's not a very fidgety knife, but if you just like doing the thumb stud flick or just open and close, and that you can hang with that. Honestly, I like a little bit, a couple more options there. I love the back flipper, and I love rolling over a front flipper, and I love thumb holes. So having a thumb hole instead on this knife for me would be much better. I would love to have a nice big thumb hole right there, and I can just flip that out. That's the only thing I would change. Make a big thumb hole there. Otherwise, Duralock mechanism on there is fantastic. It's so smooth, and it works really, really well. There's nothing bad you can say about the Duralock. It's very similar to this, which is a crossbar lock. I don't know what the real difference is between them. Honestly, I haven't taken this one apart, so I don't know what the little track in there looks like. But I don't need to take it apart. I don't need to do anything to it. I checked all the hardware, and it's all nice and snug. So for the same amount of money between these two knives, I'm going to tell you, National Knife Week, 100% honest opinion, the Kershaw wins 100%, hands down. So like and subscribe if you found this useful. I'm an honest guy. I'm a mechanic. I use my hands all the time, and this is a true experience from these knives being new to me. I don't know the durability yet on them. I'm so excited to get those handles away fast and throw them in the garbage, and put some aluminum scales on there, which is going to improve it. I will show you guys what that looks like when I get them. Back to saying thank you for all my subscribers and anybody who wants to subscribe. I have new stuff like this on and off. I try to do my best to create new content that's interesting, and I'm learning as I go, and I'm sharing as I go. So thanks for watching. Take care. Have a great day.